Season 6 Part 1 of The Crown has just been released, and it covered what felt like the entirety of the show was building towards when it first launched in 2016. This was Diana's death, with the climax of Part 1 concluding with the aftermath of it. That puts that part of the story to bed and it allows us to move on, with it looking like the show is going to be focusing on William's university years and when he met Kate Middleton, along with many other historical moments of the time. I thought I'd take a look at all that was out there, along with giving my theories and predictions on what I think could happen next. So let's get into it. Here is The Crown Season 6 Part 2 trailer explained and everything we know. Just to let you know, this video will contain spoilers. The story and the trailer explained. At the end of Season 6 Part 1, we were shown a short 50-second trailer, which gave us a sneak preview into what it was that we can expect to see when the show returns next month. It's safe to say that it's definitely moved on from the Diana story, as it looks like it's going to be focusing on William's time at university, so quite a few years in the future. With the first line in the trailer being from the Queen to William, where she said, "I want you to have as normal of a life as possible for as long as possible." And with it cutting to news clips of people in crowds absolutely screaming their heads off at the fact that William was merely in their presence. I think the tone is going to be relatively similar to what we saw in this most recent part of the show with Diana, but instead of the paparazzi being at the heart of it and the cause of disruption, it could potentially be the general public, and how because William is in line for the throne after his father, he can't have that normal of a life, yet we're going to be seeing him craving some kind of sense of normality. The next line in the trailer was by the Queen, and she said, "It's not all that easy being number one, is it?" To which William responded with, "Well, you'd know." This was intercut with crowds screaming, and also a clip of William on the front page of a magazine. So with him being at the age where he's going off to university, it's most probably the first time where he became the royal that everybody was interested in. The boy, Diana's boy, had turned into a man, and he was now getting all of the attention, hence why the Queen said that to him. The next piece of dialogue in the trailer was spoken by the Queen again, and she said, "University is about having fun and growing up." And William responded with, "You can't have fun when you've got photographers everywhere you go." This definitely shows that the impact of the paparazzi is going to be a prominent feature too, just like what it was like in the most recent season of the show. However, they may not be villainized as much with regards to Will, as it won't result in any deaths. William probably has a negative view and perception of the paparazzi and photographers, due to the fact that it was put down as part of the reason as to why his mother died. So I feel we'll see that coming out of him, even if it is just a subtle mindset. There were signs in the crowd such as, "William, it's me you've been looking for." So I think this season is also going to be taking a look at William's love life at university, and how the prospect of people becoming a queen made the public's response as outrageous and large as what it was. There was a scene in the trailer where the members of the public had an American accent, so it does make me wonder if it's going to be following him on some kind of public appearance that he did when he was in the United States. After the loudness of the crowd screaming, there was a close-up narrow shot of William walking in slow motion, so I feel it's probably going to show how the duty that he's been told that he has to uphold is going to be getting to him. And the public attention and press and paparazzi could get too much for him. This scene concluded with Charles looking over at him and him being concerned with how William was reacting. What was interesting about the next shot was that it was of William and Kate Middleton together in a bar. It was the polar opposite to what we'd just seen, and even though they were in a busy room, there was no attention, it was calm, and it was almost as if they were in a room just together where they were staring into each other's eyes. This shows that we're definitely going to be seeing the blossoming of the relationship of William and Kate throughout their university years. Shortly after this, we saw that Princess Margaret was featured at a dinner. I do wonder if the show is going to cover the death of Margaret. William went off to university in 2001, and Margaret died in 2002, so it does make me think that this could be something that will get covered in one of the 6 episodes that are to come. Margaret was a controversial figure of the family, but I wonder if there will be some sense of acceptance in this section that was in the trailer. The look that Queen Elizabeth gave her was something that it felt like we hadn't seen before. One of the final shots of the trailer was of Prince Philip looking content and happy, and it also had the Queen giving off a similar look, something which was the polar opposite to what we saw in the Season 6 Part 1 finale where she looked worried. So I wonder if it's going to conclude at a point where they're content with the state of the royal family and the public's perception of it. That's the main thing that the Queen and Prince Philip cared about throughout the entirety of the show's run, so it would be a rather fitting way for it to conclude. Other events that I think we could see based on the time period are the Queen's Golden Jubilee, which took place in 2002, and also Charles and Camilla's wedding, as they got married in 2005. Judging by the outfits that they're wearing in this section of the trailer, I think that's something that's definitely going to be happening. So love could be something that's a common theme in this next part of the show. It was highlighted to us in part 1 about how happy Charles was when he was with Camilla, so I think that will be something which will get a heavy focus when it does return. There are so many different directions that the story of The Crown could go in when part 2 does get released, because there's so much from that time period, but with only a month to wait, which isn't long at all in the grand scheme of things, it should hopefully be a good one when it does arrive. The release date. So in terms of the release date, we already have a given on that, as Netflix confirmed it a while back. The next part of Season 6 is set to be released on December the 14th of this year, so we've got just under a month to wait until the next part will be getting dropped. It's said that there's going to be 6 episodes of the final section, something which marks the ending of the show for good, and puts to bed the journey of Queen Elizabeth's reign being depicted on screen. These 6 episodes will be the final episodes that get put out in The Crown, and I imagine because it is set in a slightly different time period to part 1, a few years after Diana's death, and with William and Harry being at different points in their lives, that's why they've split this season into 2, so it didn't feel disjointed going from 1997 in one episode, and then going directly to the early 2000s in the next. The cast changes. In terms of the cast, most of the portrayals that we've seen throughout Season 5 and Season 6 Part 1 will be staying the same. That means we'll have Imelda Staunton as the Queen, Dominic West as Prince Charles, Olivia Williams as Camilla, Bertie Carvel as Tony Blair, and Jonathan Pryce as Prince Philip, along with the other royals staying the same too, such as Margaret and Anne. In terms of the recasting of William and Harry, William will be getting played by Ed McVeigh, and Harry will be played by Luther Ford, with Kate Middleton being an individual that will also be getting portrayed in this next part 2. Meg Bellamy will be portraying the Duchess in her university years. I imagine there is the possibility that there will be some other more minor roles that will be featured that we've not seen yet, so there will probably be some new characters too. Unfortunately for now, that's all that's known about Season 6 Part 2 of The Crown. However, with only a month to wait, I'm looking forward to seeing what it's going to bring. So, there you have it. The Crown Season 6 Part 2 trailer explained and everything we know. If you want to see a full breakdown of Season 6 Part 1 and Diana's death in the show versus what happened in real life, then click on the card in the top corner, or alternatively, you'll find it on the channel. And finally, if you'd like to see what I rate the latest movies that don't quite make the cut to getting a dedicated video, then head over to my Letterboxd profile. It's where I rate the latest releases in real time. What do you think will happen? Leave a comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time.